Hello, my name is Catherine Shortliffe and I am the Engagement Manager at Fruitlands Museum in Harvard, Massachusetts. And we are part of the Trustees, which is Massachusetts' largest conservation and preservation organization with 118 properties across the Commonwealth. Today I'm really excited to share with you all an excerpt from author Louisa May Alcott's classic Little Women. And Louisa May Alcott was just 10 years old when she and her family moved into the Fruitlands Farmhouse. They were living there as part of a transcendental consociate family, also called Fruitlands, that was founded by her father, Bronson Alcott, and Charles Lane. And that is a very fascinating story, which we love to tell, so catch us another time for some more details about life at Fruitlands. But today, sit back and relax, maybe grab a cup of tea to sip on while you enjoy this slice of life from the March family of Little Women. Okay, so we are going to be reading just the first few pages of Chapter 11 from Part 1 of Little Women, entitled Experiments. The 1st of June. The Kings are off to the seashore tomorrow, and I'm free. 3 months vacation. How shall I enjoy it? Exclaimed Meg, coming home one warm day to find Joe laid upon the sofa in an unusual state of exhaustion, while Beth took off her dusty boots and Amy made lemonade for the refreshment of the whole party. Aunt March went today, for which, oh, be joyful, said Joe. I was mortally afraid she'd ask me to go with her, and if she had, I should have felt as if I ought to do it. But Plumfield is about as gay as a churchyard, you know, and I'd rather be excused. We had a flurry getting the old lady off, and I had a fright every time she spoke to me, for I was in such a hurry to be through with her that I was uncommonly helpful and sweet, and feared she'd find it impossible to part from me. I quaked till she was fairly in the carriage, and had a final fright, for as it drove off she popped her head out, saying, "Josephine, won't you?" I didn't hear any more, for I basely turned and fled. I did actually run, and whisked around the corner where I felt safe. Poor old Jo, she came in looking as if bears were after her, said Beth, as she cuddled her sister's feet with a motherly air. Aunt March is a regular sampire, is she not? Observed Amy, tasting her mixture critically. She means vampire, not seaweed, but it doesn't matter. It's too warm to be particular about one's parts of speech, murmured Jo. What shall you do with your vacation? Asked Amy, changing the subject with tact. I shall lie abed late and do nothing, replied Meg, from the depths of the rocking chair. I've been rooted up early all winter and had to spend my days working for other people, so now I'm going to rest and revel to my heart's content. No, said Jo, that dozy way won't suit me. I've laid in a heap of books, and I'm going to improve my shining hours reading on my perch in the old apple tree, when I'm not having Don't say larks, implored Amy, as a return snub for the sampire correction. I'll say nightingales then, with Laurie. That's proper and appropriate, since he's a warbler. Don't let us do any lessons, Beth, for a while, but play all the time and rest as the other girls do, proposed Amy. Well, I will if Mother doesn't mind. I want to learn some new songs, and my children need fitting up for the summer. They are dreadfully out of order and really suffering for clothes. May we, Mother? Asked Meg, turning to Mrs. March, who sat sewing in what they called Marmie's corner. You may try your experiment for a week and see how you like it. I think by Saturday night you will find that all play and no work is as bad as all work and no play. Oh dear, no. It will be delicious, I'm sure, said Meg complacently. I now propose a toast. As my friend and pardner Sary Gamp says, fun forever and no grubbing, cried Jo, rising, glass in hand, as the lemonade went round. They all drank it merrily and began the experiment by lounging for the rest of the day. Next morning, Meg did not appear till 10 o'clock. Her solitary breakfast did not taste nice, and the room seemed lonely and untidy, for Jo had not filled the vases. Beth had not dusted, and Amy's books lay scattered about. Nothing was neat and pleasant but Marmie's corner, which looked as usual, and there sat Meg to rest and read, which meant yawn and imagine what pretty summer dresses she would get with her salary. Jo spent the morning on the river with Laurie, an afternoon reading and crying over the wide, wide world up in the apple tree. Beth began by rummaging everything out of the big closet where her family resided, but getting tired before half done, she left her establishment topsy-turvy and went to her music, rejoicing that she had no dishes to wash. Amy arranged her bower, put on her best white frock, smoothed her curls, and sat down to draw under the honeysuckles, hoping someone would see and inquire who the young artist was. As no one appeared but an inquisitive Daddy-long-legs, who examined her work with interest, she went to walk, got caught in a shower, and came home dripping. At tea time they compared notes, and all agreed that it had been a delightful though unusually long day. Meg, who went shopping in the afternoon and got a sweet blue muslin, had discovered, after she had cut the breadths off, that it wouldn't wash, which mishap made her slightly cross. Jo had burned the skin off her nose boating and got a raging headache by reading too long. Beth was worried by the confusion of her closet and the difficulty of learning 3 or 4 songs at once, and Amy deeply regretted the damage done her frock. For Katie Brown's party was to be the next day, and now, like Flora McFlimsy, she had nothing to wear. But these were mere trifles, and they assured their mother that the experiment was working finely. She smiled, said nothing, and with Hannah's help did their neglected work, keeping home pleasant and the domestic machinery running smoothly. It was astonishing what a peculiar and uncomfortable state of things was produced by the resting and reveling process. The days kept getting longer and longer. The weather was unusually variable, and so were tempers, as an unsettling feeling possessed everyone, and Satan found plenty of mischief for the idle hands to do. As the height of luxury, Meg put out some of her sewing, and then found time hang so heavily that she fell to snipping and spoiling her clothes in her attempts to furbish them up a la Moffat. Jo read till her eyes gave out, and she was sick of books, got so fidgety that even good-natured Laurie had a quarrel with her, and so reduced in spirits that she desperately wished she had gone with Aunt March. Beth got on pretty well, for she was constantly forgetting that it was to be all play and no work, and fell back into her old ways now and then. But something in the air affected her, and more than once her tranquility was much disturbed. So much so that on one occasion she actually shook poor dear Joanna and told her she was a fright. Amy fared worst of all, for her resources were small, and when her sisters left her to amuse and care for herself, she soon found the accomplished and important little self a great burden. She didn't like dolls. Fairy tales were childish, and one couldn't draw all the time. Tea parties didn't amount to much, neither did picnics, unless very well conducted. If one could have a fine house full of nice girls or go traveling, the summer would be delightful, but to stay at home with 3 selfish sisters and a grown-up boy was enough to try the patience of a Boaz, complained Miss Malaprop, after several days devoted to pleasure, fretting, and ennui. No one would own that they were tired of the experiment, but by Friday night each acknowledged to herself that she was glad the week was nearly done. I will leave you there today. I think a very relatable passage. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. You can find more online content at thetrustees.org/at-home. And the Trustees is a nonprofit which relies on the support of people like you. Please consider becoming a member or donating to support our work by simply going to www.thetrustees.org/join-us. And to see this and other Trustees videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much.